You say another thing, which I think is really interesting. Culture changes. Whenever you hire a new person, culture changes. Talk a little bit about that because I think people think culture is something you set and then it's static. That's our culture.
Yeah, this is a new kind of revelation where, okay, if we actually don't correct this expectation of I've built my culture and now I just need to maintain or even protect it, it's going to be you're pushing a boulder up a hill and to no point. Where in reality, if culture is, I'm defining it as any time two or more people are together. So your character plus my character, what it feels like to be on the Zoom call with the two of us, there's a feeling or a vibe or an atmosphere. How you and I work together is a culture just with two of our characters together. We bring in, let's say, Drex, and his character now informs the environment and the atmosphere. You take, if you leave and now it's just Drex and I, the culture just shifted again. And I'm thinking that if we actually started owning that that's reality when it comes to culture, we would be way more intuitive within our recruiting process of what do we want the team to feel like with this new hire, rather than what core competencies and skill sets or projects need to be owned by somebody else. And not that it's replacing those things, but that's part of the recruitment process of what do we want the team to feel like when we show up on Monday morning and we start working together. And whenever someone either leaves or joins the team, the culture should shift and adjust. And I think it's the leader's job to keep clarifying like the big rocks about our culture of who we are and how we operate, and then allow the freedom for each individual to bring their own unique personality. And sometimes cultures can feel really robotic if we don't clarify like the bigger picture of the culture, who we are, how we operate, what we're trying to do.
So we have core values. We have a way of operating. We have a flow of communications. We have a whole bunch of things. And that's why we have the first 2 weeks and we religiously set aside that first 2 weeks and say to people, we don't expect you to produce a thing. Like you are going to go through this process. And we do a bunch of things in that process that has been really impactful. And I thank you for holding the line on that because there's so many times where we're like, we're hiring Drex, we're going to get him going immediately.
It's like, wait a minute.
Slow down. And so it's important for them to understand, okay, this is how we function, this is how we operate. But what you're talking about is them being in the room changes the dynamic, changes the discussion. And that's good. If you hire the right people, that's a good thing. And if you give them that freedom, they will create